Hey Flosstube, it's Brandy. It's good to see you today. I am I am under you would think I'm under some kind of spell where I can't remember anything. Um so I my channel, this place where you're finding me now is Every Home Needs a Gnome. My designing is under Bojo Mojo Design Co. because I can't choose short names, apparently. It's nuts. So anyway, that's me. I'm Brandy. Hi. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hello. That was me sprinkling kindness. If you are a returning person, welcome back. Cotter. You remember that show, Welcome Back, Cotter? I used to love that show. Child of the 80s and the 70s and the 70s and 80s. This is a mess. I'm a minute in and it's already a mess. And my hair looks so weird. Here's the thing, you guys. I have a limited window and between things. So I'm trying to, I just made my hair weirder. I'm trying to get a video up. Clearly. We'll see how this works. Okay, first, Mouse Rat. That's right, Mouse Rat. Because Parks and Rec is one of the best shows ever. And if you disagree, I don't think we can be friends. Which means I cannot be friends with my daughter because she doesn't like the show. It's very weird. Okay, the reason I'm here with my wet mop of hair, which is just looking kind of terrible, but whatever. So I'm doing this. 24 hours of cross stitch. So do you remember a couple of videos ago, I told you that I was going to try to kind of organize my stitching, right? I was doing the Tiny Decisions app, and so I was letting that choose one project for me per week for fun stitching. And then my app chose a pattern I didn't want. And I fell off that bandwagon pretty quick. So I'm trying something different. I'm trying the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch by Jen over at Quirks and Stitches. I will link her down below in my notes. And this is September's 24-hour challenge. I can't talk. The lighting really changes when you get different things up. It's very weird. Okay, so the acrostic this month is shorter days. Apropos. So here's the thing. I have these to show you, and then I have another thing to show you that's going to pop up sometime in the middle. I'm very excited about it. So here is the piece that I am doing for S, for shorter. And I'm doing it because it's a sampler. It's also making me want to pull out my bloody hair. Pastel sampler. Yeah, still trying to figure this one out. I'm not even going to show you what I have done because you all know, if you've seen my previous weeks, you know the mess this is. I still don't know what fabric I'm going to use. I've decided that I will not use the original darker coffee stained linen that I was using because it's a nightmare in my mind. You know, the trouble is I used to stitch on just anything, right? Like anything I could find that had little squares, I would stitch on it. And then, because I couldn't afford linen, like actual stitching on linen, and then I got me some stitching on linen, and now I'm ruined. Totally ruined. Now, the same oddly isn't true with thread. I still primarily stitch with DMC. I like all the other fancy overdyed flosses, mostly I like the colors, but I don't think that the thread itself seems to be any better. So there are definitely times where, you know, having that variegation or whatever is really beneficial. Like when you're doing a large swath of a color and just kind of having some slight variation in the color kind of gives a little extra texture or whatever. And for that, I really like using the overdyed thread. But that's kind of the only reason why. Just because they have pretty colors. That's all. But mostly I stick with DMC because I'm on a budget. So anyway, back to the acrostic. For H, in shorter, I am doing heartstring sampleries, pins and orts. I have not worked on this anymore since you last saw it. There it is, pins and orts. But I will show you where I am at. Not far. But I think once I get going on this, I think it's going to go really quite quickly. I expect it to move along nicely. Okay, for our O, I'm doing Our Savior's Birth. And this was a freebie by Plum Street. Sampler by Paulette. You can find that somewhere online, I know. And here is where I am with that. I did get a little bit more done on that one, I think before September actually started, so I haven't actually clocked any minutes for it, but I finished up with something else, and then I worked on this for a little bit because it's fun, and I'm excited about it. I really like the colors that I've chosen, which I don't think are the colors that it originally calls for. I think I kind of fudged some things. So when I'm finished, I will tell you what those things are. Or if you want to know sooner, let me know. Okay. For the R in shorter, here's the thing. I can't really show you this, but I'm going to kind of show you this. I'm doing a reproduction. I have a needle poking out. I'm doing a reproduction sampler, but it is a model. And so clearly it's not up for sale just yet. So I can't really show it to you. Plus I haven't asked the designer if I can show it yet. And I think that the designer would say no. So I'm going to show you the back of a part where I messed up. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is terrible. I'll tell you what happened. So this summer, my mom and I were doing some garage sailing because, oh, I love a garage sale. And we've got a quilt from I believe it's my great-great-grandma who did this quilt top. And we want to actually quilt it and put it all together. Well, we're not quilters, but I've always wanted to learn how to hand quilt. And because most of this quilt top is hand stitched, we thought it would be good to keep it in tradition of hand quilting. So while we were at this garage sale, we found a quilt frame, loop, hoop, stand. I don't know what the right word is, but we found it and bought it. And then I was like, well, it's small enough that I could fit this sampler in, because the sampler for the most part is all over 2, but there are some places where it's over 1. Orange juice. And because of, I don't know, for some reason it's really floppy linen that we're using here. And so stitching in hand, I'm just having a hard time doing it over 1 on this particular piece. And so I thought, well, I'll just put it in this frame thing and see how that works. It's not working. It's just completely not working. Because when I have to like try to end things, I have to climb under it, and it's so awkward. It's horrible. And anyway, I ended up getting a lot of knots. So this is my lovely knotted area that, I mean, you can see where it's not knotted, it looks great. But where it's knotted, it's a train wreck. So I think I'm probably going to have to end up redoing that. Though, I don't know. We'll see how it looks when it's done. So that's for R, which I've already finished that. Because I worked on this piece yesterday for like 5.5 hours or something. 5 hours. It was a long time. I worked on it a lot yesterday. So I'm not going to, I will probably come back to that this month because it needs to get to the designer. But yeah. So anyway. Okay, let's move on. And my goal is to do 4 hours for each of these, but some of them just aren't, it's not going to happen. So I'll do, like, you can do either the 24 minutes, 240 minutes, or 480 minutes. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to count stitches. I can't do it. I don't know how y'all do that. That's insane to me. And I feel like ain't nobody got time for that. I have a hard enough time counting minutes. I cannot imagine counting stitches. That seems like a headache just waiting to happen. But if that's your jam, good for you. I will never yuck your yum. At least in this case. Okay, next. T. So this one is a little bit of a stretch, I'll admit, because this is the pattern that I got in that folk art book that I love so much. And it's this lady here. I titled it, or I put it under T because there's a whole lot of turquoise that I need to fill in. So, so I think I'll work on the turquoise part of it, is my plan. I might have to do a little bit more than just the turquoise, but that's why I'm calling it T. It's for turquoise. Okay, so E. See, I had to stretch a lot of these, but I'm okay with that because Jen says you can stretch. Make it fit. And I love that. E for shorter is the elixir of life. That's right. Coffee. This is heartstring samplery. There, I'll be behind it. And then my Christmas lights won't show through. Coffee is the elixir of life. I think it works. I actually don't even feel like this is very much of a stretch, to be honest. Because I know there are a lot of you out there that agree with me. Okay. Now we're on to R and shorter. The final R. And for this one, I am doing Abby Rose. See how that works? Got to get my papers together. Designs the summer pin pillow. So here's the thing with this though. So I did the spring one a while back. I've showed that to you before and I really liked it and I like the colors of it. But I gotta tell you, I'm not digging the colors on this one. In part, it might just be because of the linen, but like you cannot see that white at all. So I'm gonna have to redo at least the roof and the urn and see. I might have to redo some other things too. I'm just not loving it super much yet. But I know I will once I get it figured out. And I love the fabric that I'm stitching it on. And it's just a quick and easy stitch. What's not to love? Okay. Now for my surprise. This is something that has been... I did this a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago. Like a while back. It was probably one of my very first designs. And I've just sort of been sitting on it. And I don't know why. I think because I didn't want to share it with everyone yet. But this is just this is a design that is really near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, now a couple of things you need to know. One, I don't love this frame, but it was Goodwill. It was a Goodwill frame. Two, I 100% did not allow for enough edge clearance to properly frame this. So it is wonky as can be. And there's, short of a professional, which I might have to call upon, and even then, I don't know. I don't know that it's ever going to be framed right unless I sew some kind of an edging or something on it, which I might. Okay, but here's the deal. So it says, let's sit crooked and talk straight. Mabel Helen Sear, 1912. So first you need to know Mabel Helen Sear is my great-grandmother, and she was one of the most influential, wonderful people in my life, and I love her, and I miss her dearly. I used to bake cookies with her. She was a mischievous girl, and I just loved her. Oh my goodness sakes, I loved her to pieces. And anyway, the quote, let's sit crooked and talk straight, actually comes from a podcast that I listen to. It's a true crime podcast. And one of the hosts was talking about how her grandmother used to always say that to her. Let's sit crooked and talk straight. And I love that idea of let's just kind of get cozy, but let's be honest with each other. We can let our hair down and kind of look each other in the eye and just be honest with each other. I just love that. I think that there's a lot of authenticity that is lacking in our world. And maybe that's just my personality saying that, but that's something that I have always really strived for, is to just be authentic and to be honest with myself and with other people. And I haven't always been. 100% I haven't always been. And it's come back to bite me in the arse any number of times when I haven't. So, my great-grandma, Sear, she was Morris by the time I knew her. Sear was her maiden name. But she was just a pretty straightforward kind of gal. There wasn't a lot of BSing with her. She had to grow up fast, and she did. And she was independent and fierce and little and strong and just a little powerhouse. And I love her. So anyway, this is a tribute to my great-grandma. It is available on my Etsy shop, Bojo Mojo Design Co. I'll put the link below. It is for sale. It's a digital download. I'm happy to print things off and send things to people if you would like. But anyway, this piece, oh my gosh, I can't tell you the color scheme. When I had it, I picked all the colors out and everything, and it looked really pretty with the fabric, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And then I got to stitching it, and I was like, well, this is all wrong. So I had to redo so many things. So it's not 100% the way I want it to be. As far as these flowers are really quite faded. But I don't know what to do about it, y'all. And I just needed to be done with it. So, but go ahead, change colors. I'm totally down with that. Okay, so that's that. And now, on to the rest of my acrostic. D for days and shorter days. Of course, I am doing Plum Street Samplers, A Gentleman's Daughter. You guys just saw this one not too long ago. There it is. I haven't worked on this one since. So that's that one. Oh, I also meant to tell you that the C is for coffee for the elixir of life. I'm technically done with that one. I've already done 4 hours on that one. But I'm really close to finishing it. So depending on how things go, I might get that finished. We'll see. All right. A for autumn, I'm doing autumn as my A. And here's my autumn. It's pumpkins 3. See how that almost doesn't even make sense, but it totally does make sense because pumpkins are in autumn. Always thinking right there. This is la-di-da. Obviously, you can read that because you're smart. So that's that. That really sounded super judgmental. And if you're dyslexic and can't read that, that doesn't mean you're not smart. And I'm really sorry that I said it that way. That was really rude. And I didn't mean to be like that. You know when you say things and you're like, maybe I am kind of a jerk. Yeah, I have those moments. But I trust you know my heart. Okay. Y in days is, again, this is a stretch. This is all, how do you say it? Auld Lang Syne? It's heartstring samplery. It's a freebie. And I'm doing it as year's end, year's beginning. I don't really know what Auld Lang Syne means because I forgot to look it up. But I know it has something to do with the year coming or going. Let's see. Let's show this to you. I've had to kind of redo some of the colors a little bit in order to be visible on this fabric, but I really like how it's turning out. This is one of those that I don't think it's going to require 4 hours to finish. It doesn't seem like it should. So we will see. And finally, S for days. I am doing Ghoul. Trust me, it makes sense. By Palm Street. Because of the squirrel. I love that little squirrel. I don't know what about him that I love so much, but I do. And there we go. So I'd already put in some time on this little guy. Not very much. And then before September, and then I just put in another 30 minutes or so the other day. And I'm excited to finish it. Now, here's the thing. I'm hoping to get these finished. Well, not all of them, but I'm hoping to get at least a couple of finishes by the end of the month. You guys, I don't know if that's realistic, honestly, because there's so much going on in my life. It's just nutty. But because dance is starting back up, because it's, that time of year, I'm going to have some time just sitting in my car waiting for Molly at the dance studio. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get some things done while she's dancing. It's my plan. I don't know how it'll work. But, so here's the thing. Okay, so I tried, admittedly, just very temporarily, but I tried the whole Tiny Decisions app thing, and I didn't hate that. The thing that was problematic for me is that I had things in that rotation that I knew I was struggling with and not looking forward to. And I felt like I really needed to stay locked into whatever this app told me I should stitch. And then I got angry at it. And it's weird when you start getting angry at an app that you're using essentially for your mental health. Because that's what stitching is for me. It's therapy. And so I'm thinking, if my therapy is causing me more stress than any kind of therapeutic benefit, that's not therapy. That's insanity. So I stopped using that app. That's not to say I won't go back to it because I do think that I will. I think I just need to be more selective with what I put in the rotation and make sure that I have things that I do actually want to stitch and not things that when I look at just cause me massive anxiety. Now, granted, I do still have Pastel Sampler, the one that's causing me all this anxiety, in my list of things to do. But I do want to work through this. Like I want to get it going because it's a piece that I really like, and I want to see it finished. It's one I've been sitting on for years and years. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, I have a lot of other things I can stitch. And because it's the acrostic and you can just kind of do it however you want, like I can hop around between projects. If I get stuck on one, I can move to a different one. And it's not, like I don't feel like I'm breaking rules. The ironic thing about this is that I used to be a complete rule breaker. Like I hated rules. I still kind of am, but also there are times when I feel locked into rules. It's very weird. I meant to tell you too with the Pumpkins 3, I don't yet have any fabric or floss picked out. I don't know. I was thinking about kind of doing like a variegated something or other for the thread. But I don't know. I don't have anything pulled for it, so we'll see. You guys, my goodness sakes. I think I made it. Whew. More orange juice because orange juice is good for us. Specifically because last time I went in to do a blood work for my adrenal fatigue to see where everything was, one of the things that they test is your vitamin D. And my doctor was like, how are you even standing? Because you're not getting any vitamin D. Which I thought I was. It's kind of weird. But I guess I'm not getting nearly enough. So I've been trying to increase my intake of orange juice, which I love, and mandarin oranges, which I love. And that's kind of it. I'm not a big sunshine person. I love sunshine when it isn't hot. It's a conundrum. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say to you that's worthwhile. I have plenty to say, but none of it will be beneficial. Okay, you guys, I'm trying to think. I feel like there is something else, but I don't know. I'm a mess. I want to design. Here's my problem is I want to be designing. I want to be creating something new. And instead, my workload is just swamped with other things that are not that. And I've been telling myself that because the stitching part of my life is meant to be like more of a hobby and therapy and all that kind of stuff. Even the design aspect, I'm not expecting to make a career out of this in the next 2 months. Though if it happens, that's awesome. But in the meantime, like it kind of needs to take a back burner to everything else. So yes. So I have to be responsible. And responsibility is really hard for me because I just want to do the fun things. And the fun things all involve stitching and creating anything. I'm completely stuck on, I've been watching this one girl's YouTube videos all about writing, like her writing, like she's trying all these different writing styles. And because I like to write also. And then I've also been stuck on, oh my gosh. Glenn, you will love this. Donna Ray, You will love this. There is a lady, I will put her down below. I don't know her name, and I can't even remember the name of her channel right now. But she's got a gnome home that she's made, I think out of paper mache. And then she makes little gnome furniture and furnishings, and she's got little gnomes that live in it. It's amazing. So I've been stuck watching her videos like as she's making like these little oil lamps and a little kitchen hutch. It's it's the coolest. It's completely insane. I love miniatures. I've always loved miniatures since I was a little girl. And this video is, or this channel is just like, it's giving me life. I love it so much. So anyway, I'll put a link below for her as well because I think she's delightful. And anyway, I just love watching people create because then it inspires me to create. And but then I'm like, I'm having to do work that isn't creative and it's making me crazy. So that's okay though. My time will come. So anyway, you guys, I have to be done now because I'm just rambling and going nuts. So have a lovely day. I hope it is, I hope your world is well. And I hope that as you are interacting with the people around you, that you are able to give them love and kindness and compassion and to show them the grace that has been given to you. And that everywhere you go, you are leaving a trail of smiles behind you. That's my hope. And I hope that people are smiling at you and making you feel good too. Okay, here's my hug. I'm hugging you. I don't know. I think I just lost my marbles. Okay, love you guys. Bye.